are. Never started the recording, Stephanie. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. All right, there we go. Hi, welcome, everyone. We are so excited to talk to you guys about UV resin. And this is an awesome new crafting material that allows you to create custom plastic pieces that are usually coming from a mold or from a bezel. And today we are focusing on earrings, and specifically earrings that are made with molds. So if you are a beginner, if you are a complete beginner to resin crafting, to UV resin, this is the class for you. So I'm so excited you joined us today. We are going to be making several earring projects, and we're going to take you all the way from a very beginner project all the way to a more advanced project. And all of these projects today are featuring brand new items that are available at Michael's stores. So these are items that are available online and in stores. And we're so excited to show off all of this cool new stuff that we have. So first, a small introduction to UV resin. This is UV resin. It comes in a little bottle like this. And unlike some other resins, this just pours out ready to go. It's a liquid and it's not a two-part resin. You may be familiar with two-part resins. You have to very carefully measure them, mix them for a long time. This is not that. This pours out completely ready to go, and it cures in UV light. So it will stay in its liquid form until you want it to start curing. So that means a UV light either from a UV lamp, which is available at Michael's, or it does cure in the sunlight, which is really, really cool. And for me, there's nothing better than the pure rays of the sun to get a great deep cure. So a few words of precaution before we get started. If you are sensitive or you've had an allergy to resin, please use gloves. Work in a well-ventilated area, and you want to make sure that your work surface isn't by a bright, airy open window, because this stuff will start curing before you want it to. So make sure that you're not in direct sunlight while you're crafting. All right, let's get started. So we're going to switch to, these are the projects. We have a little bit of a glare there, but these are the projects that we are going to be making today. And so we have everything from these very simple little button earrings with a dried flower encased in there, to these earrings, which is a new technique we're going to talk to you about, which is a mold within a mold. We have these 3D kind of like spherical little dangle earrings. And then we have these amazing dried flower keys. Look how cool those are. All of these products are available at Michael's. From the tools that we'll use, the resin, obviously, the dried flowers, the tints, everything is available at Michael's in the jewelry making department. I saw a question come up. Oops, I saw a question come up. Where can we get the key mold? This is very special. This is made with a brand new product that is a silicone mold maker. So you can make your own custom silicone molds out of any object. And this one was made from just a regular household key. So we're going to show you, this is actually the last project that we're going to do because it is the most kind of intense. We want to step you up there. We're going to start with some really simple projects just so you get a feeling with how this material works. So we're going to start with these little button earrings, and I haven't attached the earring back to them yet, but you can see it's just a simple little earring with a single dried flower in there. We're going to attach these earring posts to the back, and I'll show you how to do that. So let's start with the mold. This is one of our new molds. So you can see all the little shapes from stars and moons and several different sizes of circles. So we're going to be using this shape to make these. So this just pops out of the mold like that. Okay, so let me first clear my space here, and I'll show you how to get started. Okay, so we have our mold, we have our resin, and we just pour it directly into that mold. And I'm filling it maybe about halfway. And then I just want to take a wood stick, has a pointy side and this kind of doe foot side. And I'm just spreading that around. I just want to make sure that it got to all the edges. I always keep a paper towel off to the side so I can wipe off my stick as I go. And now I just want a flower to put in there. All of these dried, we've got about 20 different items of dried flowers, everything from flat preserved flowers like these to things that have a little more dimension. I'll show you an example. Like this is one of the flowers that's in stores. So this is like dried baby's breath and dyed in different colors. We're going to be using that today too. I'll show you another example of dried flowers. This is like a mix. So you get several different flowers in there along with some greenery. These are all real dried flowers. So each package is unique. Okay, so back to our mold. So I'm going to dip the wood stick into a little bit of resin and just use that to be able to pick up a flower. That's the easiest way to pick up flowers, and just press it down in there. And I can go in with other flowers. I can put little glitter in there. I can put all sorts of fun things in there, but we're going to keep this first project really simple. And now we just fill the mold to the top with more resin. So you can see that the resin is self-leveling. I just put a dollop of that in there and it kind of found its level. You'll also notice, and I'm going to pick this up carefully. Whoa! Pick this up carefully and show you that there are not a lot of bubbles. There are, you can see a tiny, you see this little bubble here? Bubbles aren't really a problem with UV resin. They can be a problem with some other types of resin, but the best way to deal with bubbles is either to pop them. This one's a little too small to pop, so I'm going to try to scoop it out. And I got rid of it. Let me put this down. I just kind of scoop it out. All right, now that wasn't the most pretty flower in there, but you get the idea. It's kind of a 4-petal flower. And now we bring our UV lamp in. So this also sold at Michael's. You need to switch this out. Ours is well used, you can see here, but let me flip it over for you and I'm going to hit the button. See, these are lights that come on. That is 9 watts of UV light. This thing plugs in to a USB port. So this can plug into your laptop or to your cell phone charger. And you just hit the button once and that starts to cure it. Actually, I'm going to pause this for a minute. So that's been on for less than 10 seconds. And can you hear this? Tappity tap. It's already hard. That was liquid just a second ago and it's already hard. It's not cured the whole way, but I just wanted to show you how quickly this process works. Total curing time is between 2, 3, 4 minutes. It really depends on what you've put into the resin. So if you put a really dark tint, you've put a whole bunch of glitter in there, it does kind of block the light. So you may need to cure it a little bit longer. But generally with something simple like this, you'll have to cure it maybe 1 to 2 minutes. This does have a timer. So every time I hit this button, toggles it on or off, and it runs that light for 1 minute. So it has an automatic shut off, and you would just have to hit the button again to start it for another minute. Thank you for using the chat. I saw your question. Nikila, I think was your name in the chat. If you have any questions for me, please do use the chat function. We love to hear from all of our class participants. And oftentimes here, you saw that turned off. I'm going to turn it back on again. Oftentimes you're asking a question that everyone else is thinking. So thank you for your question. And to answer that is this product only cures in UV light. It will stay in its liquid form forever. We've left it some out here as an experiment, just under fluorescent light, just sort of regular room lighting. And it has stayed liquid for weeks. It will stay in that form until you want to harden it. And that only happens with UV light. So UV light that comes from this lamp or UV light that comes from the sun. All right, so that's been in there 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes. Let me show you what we have here. And then I can pop this out of the mold. You can see Now I'm actually going to leave it in the mold because I want to show you the next step, which is adding the earring part. See this little earring pad here? This is also at Michael's. This is what it looks like in the findings area. They're called flat post earrings. This is how you can turn any object, any flat backed object, into a pair of stud earrings. And we do that by using the UV resin as an adhesive. This is an amazing adhesive, better than crazy glue, better than hot glue, because it dries completely clear and it cures only when you want it to cure. So you have control over the process. So I'm taking a little pair of pliers here. You can just use your fingers, but I feel like this will give me a better grip. And I'm just kind of placing that into that resin. And then I bring the light over and I cure it right in place. Can I show the earring studs again? Sure. Here you go. This is what they look like. Comes in a package of 60 of them. So you can make 30 pairs of earrings with this. And that is curing there. Using UV resin as an adhesive is amazing. My husband is a scale modeler, so he puts together models of things and he loves to use it as his main adhesive because it creates a very strong bond between porous objects, non-porous objects, from plastic to glass, from plastic to wood, from metal to glass. It adheres all of these materials very well together. Okay, all right, so I'm just letting that cure. That's gone for a minute, and let's see what we have. I can just pop it right out. And there is our little stud earring. We can just put our earring back onto it. And so that is our simple project. I just wanted to show you kind of what this does. So now I'm going to show you, we're going to kick it up one level, and I'm going to show you this technique, which is also going to create a stud earring. But the difference is this is a mold in a mold. So first we molded this star shape using this one here. And then we pop it out and put it inside of another shape and fill that with resin. So I'm going to show you that process. And for this, we're using another new product. This, here, I'll show you what it looks like. This is available on michaels.com, and these are pre-tinted resins. So the main bottle of resin, this just comes in clear, but it sometimes is helpful to have a resin with a little bit of a tint in it. So these are pre-tinted with pink, blue, green, yellow. Yes, 4, pink, blue, green, and yellow. And this is the pink. So I'm going to pour that directly into this star shape. And it works just like the clear. It's the exact same thing. It just has some color in there. And I can fill that to the top of the mold. And then I just like to go in with my stick and just make sure that I've gotten it all the way to, these edges are kind of pointy. So I want to make sure I've gotten it all the way into those pointy edges, and it's good. And that's ready to cure. This is a little bit of a different color than our example here, but I wanted to show you this brand new item that's available online. So while that's curing, let me move that back. I'm going to take a silicone cup. Again, everything that I'm using here is available at Michael's stores. This is a mixing kit. You get some sticks, you get a silicone cup. You'll notice that all of these products are made of silicone because resin does not stick to silicone. And I'll show you what this mixing kit looks like. I always like to show you the packages because sometimes you're in a store and you're like, what, where is this? But this is the mixing kit. And so I'm going to mix just some glitter inside resin. So I want to be careful before I even pour this into the cup. I need to be mindful that there is a bunch of UV light pouring onto my work surface from this lamp. So this lamp turned off. I'm going to pour some in here. Just a little bit, and then add glitter. we have a full line of different glitters, confetti, flakes for you to put down inside of your resin. And I'm just gonna tap a little bit in there. It's up to you if you want your, looks like I got a piece of green glitter in there. So let me try to get that out. If you want your earring to be super opaque looking, you can add more glitter. And I'll show you an example of some of the glitters that we have. This is one of them. So these are like flakies. These look really cool inside the resin. I'll show you this item. This is our mega filler kit. This is an awesome buy if you're getting into any type of resin crafting, because it has just like kind of a mix of a different things. So these are those flaky, and here we have like a confetti. And then we have ultra fine glitter, like what we used here. And then this has some dried flowers in it, these same like plum blossom dried flowers. It has some polymer clay slices. These are little fruits and little flowers. And then some metal. These are like metal charms, little metal stars, and some pearls. So this is a great item to buy if you want a sampler of all the different things that can easily go down inside the resin. Okay, so I've mixed this up. You can see the sparkliness. Again, wiping off my stick. And let's see what we have here. Now this went for just 1 minute, but I'm going to pop it out. You can see we have a perfect little star. And now I can put that down inside any other shape that fits. It doesn't fit inside there. Let's put it inside here. This creates kind of this cool 4-pointed, almost a reverse quatrefoil, but it fits just perfectly in there. And I can move it with my stick to find the center. And then I just pour this on top. So this technique is a mold within a mold. And you can get really creative using this technique. This mold in particular has several different size stars, several different size hearts. So that would be really cool for you to make a mold with the smaller heart and then put it inside the larger heart. All right, so I put that in there. And if you overfill the mold, the time to correct it is now when it is still liquid. You can see I can kind of like, let me get you down in there a little closer. You can kind of scoop out any excess, but that looks good to me. And once I'm sure that I have this centered and exactly where I want it to go, I can cure. Just lock it into place. Bring the lamp in and cure it.
Stephanie, your favorite question has been asked.
Yes.
How much glitter can you use?
You can use all the glitter. It really is up to you. A little sprinkling of glitter will give you a little more subtle effect, but if you use a lot of glitter, you can completely, so for example, like this glitter, you can basically color the resin with glitter. And I'm going to show you, I'm pretty sure that I have a lot of pieces here made with glitter. So here's a hoop earring. We are very, very close. This is a hoop earring that we made. So you can see that this side is very opaque with glitter. And then we tried to do a little bit of an ombre into clear here. I think that makes just a really cool look. But this uses quite a bit of glitter. Never too much, in my opinion. Okay. All right, so that's gone for 1 minute. I could pop this out to be safe. I would do it for another minute. And I want to talk to you about surface tackiness. So one thing that you will find working with UV resin is once it comes out of the mold, you may have, this one isn't really tacky. You may have a little bit of surface tackiness. And of course, none of these are, but that's where it's just a little bit sticky on the top. And that you haven't done anything wrong. That is a natural kind of byproduct of curing with UV light. It's called surface oxidation. So just around the surface of it, it does remain sticky. If that happens, my best suggestion is to put it in a sunny windowsill or outside for a few minutes, and that completely takes that tackiness away. Or just cure it for longer under your lamp. All right, so here is our item. We pop it out, and that's what it looks like. And I'll add my earring back again by putting a little drop. And putting the earring in there. And I do want to make sure I'm getting that resin like over the edge of the earring, because remember, this is curing with light. So directly underneath that, if the light can't reach it, it won't cure. So directly underneath that finding will stay tacky until some light can get to it. So I'm going to let that go, and we are going to start to get set up for our next project, which are these earrings. And these earrings were made with this one. Let me bring this up a little bit here. All right, so this is our new circle mold. And this mold is so cool because you have all these different circle shapes that can work with each other. And we actually already made, we're going to be using this sort of donut shape. I'm going to pop that out so you can see. And we use this half donut shape. And what we're going to do is put these together. We're going to assemble them together like that and one on the other side. And that's how we're going to get this spherical shape. All right, so let me just show you how it's done. And again, we're going to be using our pre-tinted resin here because I want to just show you how easy it is to use. Pours out, just fills the shape here. You fill it all the way to the top. And I'm also going to do this one. So you can see how it's self-leveled. And then I can go in and kind of poke at it. Again, you just want to make sure that because it's a little thicker liquid, you want to make sure it reached all the corners of that mold. So I'm just kind of poking at it. And then at the same time, I'm looking to make sure that there are no air bubbles trapped anywhere. If I see an air bubble, I can kind of stab it and try to pop it, or I can scoop them out. Okay. All right, and we are ready to cure this. This mold, I'm going to show you what it looks like when you buy it online. So when you buy any of our molds, you'll see up in the top corner, it shows you an example of how it can be used. And then on the back, it shows you all of the shapes that it makes. These shapes in particular are just so cool because they can work together in so many ways. So for you to be able to get like a color blocked look like that, all of these shapes can work together or nest inside each other. All right, I'm going to flip this to make sure that both of those spots are getting plenty of love. And while we're doing that, I'll demold this one that we made earlier. And there is our earring. All right, so that's gone for 1 minute. I'm just going to put that in for 1 more minute. And just for time's sake, I'm going to get started on this other one, this one, because we need 2 of those to create our sphere. Okay. And now they can join the party over here. The UV light party. It's happening. All right. Any questions from the group? You guys are quiet.
We're doing our best to keep up with the
molds?
question.
How do you get the holes in the mold? So I'm going to show you an example of a mold. Let me just see what we have here. Okay. Here, actually, I'll show this one. So this is one of our classic. Oops, that one. This is one of our classic molds that makes these kind of gem shapes. And you'll see here at the top, or you can see it better if I turn it, this little peg here. That silicone peg creates a hole in the top. And let me show you one somewhere. Here we go. Actually, I'll show you this mold. This is another classic mold of ours. This sort of puffy heart, see that little silicone peg? That creates a hole in the top for you to be able to connect the shape with something else. So in this case, we're connecting it with a jump ring. So that's one way that you get a hole. Another way you can see on this butterfly is sometimes there's a loop that's already worked into the mold itself. So this butterfly has a loop on the top. This Eiffel Tower already has a loop on the top. So depending on the shape, it may have a loop or it may just have a hole inside of it. But if it doesn't, I'm going to show you what to do because we also sell this little hand drill. And I'm going to be using that in just a minute. Okay, so these have gone. Keep that one there. Let's pop these out. Now you will notice that the mold is slightly warm after you cure. Heat is a byproduct of the curing process. So it will be slightly warm. All right, and these are our two shapes that we have. Just waiting on our third shape. All right, and let's pop that one out. Here we go. And you can see, I'm going to show you what I mean by surface tackiness. See how it's just kind of sticking my finger a little bit? If I put this under the lamp for a few more minutes, that will go away. Or if I put it in the sun for a few minutes, that will go away. All right, so let's show you how to assemble. Again, I'm using the UV resin as an adhesive here. So I'm going to put a little dot here, a little dot here, and just stick this on. And I can get it to the exact place I want it. Might use a stick to do that instead of my fingers. Try to get it square. And then I can just bring, I'm going to keep hold of this and just bring the light in and lock that in place. And I'm just kind of moving this, ooh, don't move on me. Moving this around to make sure that that light is getting all the different areas. All right. And so there's one side on there. We'll do the other side. A little bit goes a long way. You don't need a lot for this. In fact, it's easier if there's less. If you like put a giant glob on there, it's this may like slide. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to hold this lamp on here for the first, I don't know, 10, 15 seconds until it grabs, and then I can set it down. Was that a question to use the drill, to show the drill?
It is, Steph.
Okay, wonderful. We are going to do that next, actually. So let me
Okay.
just let that completely harden. I'm going to show you, this is what the drill looks like. I have one here. Oops. Avalanche. This is the drill, and it's got this twisty back. That back part sits in your hand. Zoom out a little bit. That it sits in your hand like this so that you can go like this and drill. And it just makes it really easy. So this, now I did not put those things on there perfectly, so mine's a little cattywampus. This is the beautiful example we have over here, but I'm going to show you, we obviously need a way of connecting this with other things. And so we need to drill into it so that we can set this little screw eye. And I'll show you what those look like. This is just like a little eye that has a thread on it. We need to set that down in there. So we need to create a hole. And I will show you. So that screw eye, this is what it looks like in stores. This is our mega findings kit. Now this is super awesome too, because with resin crafting, sometimes you need some special metal parts like this screw eye, for example. And this has all the specialty type of findings that you need. With this, you can make earrings, you can make pins. There are little pin backs to make like small brooches. I'm going to show you the back of it. On the back, we really detail what comes inside here. So there are bails, there are jump rings, these screw eyes, there are different types of bails. There are also clear bails. So if you don't want your metal to show through the front, if you're creating a clear thing, you need a clear bail. This is a great value. Okay, all right, so we're going to take our tool and place it where I want to go. And I have the end of that tool inside my hand, and I can just twist. Apply a little bit of pressure and try to keep it on the target. That's the hardest part until you really get it started. And I don't need to drill very far. That screw eye that I showed you has, I mean, it's probably about 1/8 of an inch. And you can see the little parts being, all right. Blow it. And now I've created a perfectly sized hole, and just get all the little dusty parts off. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little dollop of resin right here. Take that screw eye, and again, I'm going to use pliers so I can get a really good grip on it. And I'm going to drop the little threaded part into there and drop it right inside. And then cure it in place. So I'm not actually, it does have the threads on it, but I'm not actually screwing it into the piece. Those threads just help to hold more resin. Nellie had a question, how do you avoid cracking? I haven't really had that problem when using the drill for cracking. I could see how that might happen if you were trying to drill into a very, very thin piece of resin, but I've not really had that problem. Okay, and I'm just, you can see me just moving it around. I want to make sure that whole piece. And then here, I'm going to hold it by this so you can see like it's in there. It is not going anywhere. I'm like pulling, I'm tugging right now. It's not, it's in there for good. All right, so let me show my example earring again. So now we just have to attach some chain and our earring. So this is traditional jewelry making. Little piece of chain, some jump rings. Thank you. My assistant Rosa is here handing me all these teensy tiny little pieces. And then I just need one more jump ring. There we go. Okay, so these jump rings are basic building block of jewelry. This is how you jump from one jewelry component to another, how you connect them together. And you do want to use some pliers here. Each jump ring has, I'm going to try to get as close as possible without getting blurred, has a break in the top, and I take two pliers and I open it up. Do you see how that's open now? So while it's open, I can connect this last link of chain onto it and then connect that to my screw eye. And then I close it, and I close it in the opposite motion that I opened it, like this. Okay, you want to open your jump rings like this, never like this. If you open like this, when you try to close them again, it won't be a perfect circle. You'll lose that. You'll get some wonky oval shape. So you want to open like this, close like this. Okay, and you can see now we have a chain attached. Oh, my light is in the way. All right, one more time. Jump ring. Find the break in the jump ring, situated at the top. Open it up. Yeah, thank you for your question, Wanda. That's a really good question. She asked, can you use an eye pin? Or does the screw eye work better? The screw eye does work better. And so you can see I opened that up, put the chain on, put my earring top, my French hook on there, and close it up. So the screw eye does work better because it just has more surface area for that resin to stick to. An eye pin would work. If I were using an eye pin, I would maybe try to put some texture in it, a wave in it or something, just to get more surface area for the resin to stick to. So here is our really cool earrings. All right, so we have shown you all of the basics, how to do some basic earrings, how to do a little bit of a step up by using multiple mold shapes and assembling them together to create an earring. And let me just clean up a little bit here. And so now we're going to show you how to make your own molds. And this is a product I'm so excited about because this is not your average mold maker. So that you can see a little piece of resin just cured on there. But this is a silicone mold maker. This is brand new in stores right now. This is so cool. This product has not been available widely in the US before now. And with this, you can make a silicone mold out of any object. And I'm going to show you some molds that we made. Okay, so this, pull that out. This doesn't look like much, but it is a mold of this little dolphin charm. So this dolphin charm was kind of stuck down in there, and we created an impression of it. And then we pop it out and use this just like I've used the previous molds. And actually we made this little dolphin shape out of it. So it is a perfect replica of our dolphin. And so this gives you the ability to make multiple dolphins and also to make the dolphins in whatever color that you want. Whatever color, whatever inclusions you want in there, whatever glitter you want in there. I'll show you another example. This is a mold that we made using a plastic rose. And so here was our starting rose. And then here's our mold. And this is, we made this rose out of the mold. So you can see that it retains all of its surface texture, even down to the very small details, get molded in here. And so what it starts as are these little beads. Could you resin glue two dolphins together to make it three-dimensional? Absolutely. Great suggestion, Wanda. You can. So this is what it starts as, and this is silicone, but in bead form. And the easiest way to work with this is with hot water because we need to sort of melt these down and form like a clump. And so what Rosa is doing off camera right now is we have a mug of water that we put into the microwave. You can also use hot water from a kettle or something like that, but hot water is the best way to work with it. You will see, you can also use a heat gun, but those things scare me. So I like using hot water. Thank you. So here is some hot water. You can see it's actually boiling. Oh, my camera. Oh no. Yeah, there we go. Sorry, we're steaming up in here. Woo! All right, where's my camera? We did not consider that there would be steam. Let me put it up. Okay, hot water. Let me try to wipe this. Okay, well, it's gonna steam up again, but bear with me, guys. So we have our little beads here, and I just pour them right in. And you can go in with some tweezers or wood stick, and they are gonna clump together. You just wanna encourage them to clump. So I'm kind of like pressing it against the side walls here, already getting a really nice clump. And now I've kind of grabbed it with the tweezers, and all of these little rogue beads that haven't been incorporated into the clump yet, I'm grabbing. All right, so here is, let me move this out of the way. Thank you. So here's our clump. Now this is hot, but I'm going to gently, with my fingers, open it up, flip it over, and take your object. In this case, we wanted to use an object that was readily available to all of you. So this is a house key. And so I'm just pressing it down in there. I want to get a good impression of it. So I can take a tool, kind of press it down. And the object here is to create a mold whose sides are straight up and down, because that will give you the best impression. So you don't want a mold whose sides are cupping around your object. You want this to have straight sides. So that's what I'm trying to achieve here while this is still warm. It will start cooling down and make that harder. You don't have to mix it much. No, I didn't mix it at all. Really, we just clumped it together and then flattened it out. All right, and so this is already starting to dry. I'm just gonna clean up the excess water here. And I want to let this cool down. And then we'll pull that key out. Now, while it's still wet, I'm gonna show you, this is the coolest part about it. You can go in with scissors. If you have too much material on there, you can just, now don't mess up your mold while you do it. You can just cut that off. And the coolest part is these can go back in the water. You can reuse this mold over and over and over again and create a different mold every day. Or you can hang on to, like, this is a key mold that we made before. We actually wrote on the back that this was an okay one. You can keep this mold forever, or you can just put it back in hot water, reconstitute it, and use it over and over and over again. What is the name of the beads to make the molds? This is the product. It's called silicone mold maker beads. So completely reusable. You can melt it down over and over again. The only thing that might happen is over time, you know, after dozens and dozens of molds, it may get a little dirty, but it won't affect how it works. Excuse me. Allergy season. Okay. So now this is still warm. I'm gonna actually, I don't want to pop that out yet. I'm gonna wait a minute and prep my flowers. We're going to be using a bunch of different flowers for this. Let me bring in my examples. here's what we're making. So we have some yellow flowers. These are, we refer to them as lace flowers. And go in with some scissors and just, I want it to be more like confetti. So I can use this whole flower together, or I can just kind of cut it apart. So we have these little sprinkly bits. All right. Same thing with these little guys. This is our dried and dyed baby's breath. Cut some of those apart. And we also have some pink flowers in there. And I'm going to cut those apart too. And make sure whenever you're using resin, you do not want to use fresh flowers in your resin. We do get asked that question. You don't want to put fresh flowers, fresh leaves in there. They do need to be dried. Fresh flowers still have so much moisture inside. It will look beautiful when you put a fresh flower down inside the resin, but after a few weeks, it won't look so beautiful because it will start to kind of decompose in there. So you need to make sure that moisture is already pulled out. And then we have these guys too. All right, so my flowers are prepped and ready. Let's look at what we have here. So here I'm going to demold. And here is the mold that we just made. And it is an exact replica of this. So if your key has like a brand name on it, that will be in that mold. I'm just going to dry this because it still has some water. I tried to get the edges as perpendicular as possible. I'm just showing this to you so you can see. And now we're ready to use this. Okay, so we go in and get a little closer. Go in with the clear resin. And I want to make sure I get that top area. And then my stick. And I dip that in a little bit of the resin and use that to help me pick up. And now it's just a matter of placing my elements where I want them to go. So let me get these around here. And these dried flowers are beautiful. Also, you can use confetti. You can use all different types of glitter, sequins, beads. I'll do, if we have time, I'll do a little bit of show and tell so you can see some of the things that we put down inside the resin and how they look. So right now I'm just putting all of these flowers, trying to keep them kind of spread out equally from each other. Let me do pink little guys. Thank you. Lindsay just asked a question or had a suggestion of adding mica powder. Mica powder works beautifully in resin. You have like pearlized mica powder. You have all different colors available. We do sell a resin tint that I'll show you here in a little bit. So if you don't have the pre-tinted resin, using the resin tints is the classic way to create different colors. So I'll show you that. Got my pinks in there. And now my hot pink. I wish I had one more hot pink. Where'd those go? Here they are. Two more. All right, and now I can keep going as long as I want. I can just keep playing with this. I can take a break, come back to it. This will still be liquid. Okay, so I think that's good. And now we just cure it. So we bring our lamp in. We are going to cure that. The most unique thing about this mold maker product is that it creates clear molds. Silicone molds come in a lot of different colors and shapes and sizes, but for UV resin, it does need to be clear. So we have an example of an opaque silicone mold. Let me show you, like these molds are available, like you see them like candy making molds. Do not use these with UV resin. You will get some funky things happening. It will not cure properly. So you want to make sure that the molds you're using are clear. So that's why this mold maker product is so unique, because it creates something clear. Tints. I wanted to show you our tints. Take this one. So these are the tints available in several different colors. This one's our primary mix. And these are just what they sound like. Let me turn that on again. You can just stir this into your resin and create any color that you want. And let me also show you the earring findings that we're going to use. This makes it really easy. We're going to be using these findings. That's what we used. Well, they're not even findings. They're actual hoop earrings available at Michael's. But this key shape makes it really easy just to slide that key right on top of the findings, and no additional work needed. All right, so I have one of those right here. All right. So this is on its second minute of curing, and then we're going to pop it out. It's the moment of truth. I can tell you that working with this mold maker, it's wonderful that it's a reusable product, because the more you use it, the better you'll get at it. You do want to be careful about making sure that those walls are straight. And we're ready to pop this out. All right, so I'm just kind of separating it. And let's see what we got. Oh, no, sorry. Not ready yet. It's not ready yet.
Stephanie, could you talk a little bit about cleanup, like the molds and the cup?
Yes,
Thank you.
absolutely. Okay, so cleanup is really easy. So here is my cup that I used earlier, and it has been setting off to the side, but you can see that just from being, 8 inches away from my lamp, it's already cured that. And that's what you want to do. Just to clean up, just cure it in the cup. And then you could just pop out that cured shape. So you can, on this one, I started to pop it out and then I realized it's not done yet. So I just put it back in there. So hopefully this will turn out okay. As I said before, the curing process does create heat. So it's important when you're using the silicone mold maker to let that cool down. And so while this is all happening, I'm going to do just a little bit of a show and tell. These are some rings that we made using different flakes, glitters. This is a ring that we actually made into like an ocean theme with some sand. This is a ring that we put a piece of cording down inside. What else? A lot of glitter here. This, I want to show you a very cool technique using dried flowers. So this earring, we took one dried flower and just cut it in half and used it inside of a mold. How cool are these? This is like something you would find in a fancy boutique. And now you can make them just in a few minutes. Here's some other pieces, some other earrings that we've made using dried flowers. Ooh, throwing that around. There's a hoop earring. Here's another style hoop. All of these are molds available at Michael's. And then here's more of a dangle style. How pretty those are. So nice. Also, you can use stickers and paper Here we use a jewelry bezel. That's just a metal frame. Filled it with resin and then put a sticker on there. Same with, this is not a sticker. This is a piece of paper. This is actually a silhouette of my son that we just cut out and sunk down inside the resin. Here's a photograph. Same thing, sink it down inside the resin. So many uses of things to put inside the resin. Let's see, this is a brooch pin that we made. So the moon shape comes from a mold, and then we just one by one attached each of these little pearls. And on this has some sticky glue on the back, but used a pin finding and attach this pin finding with UV resin, using it as an adhesive. All right, so now this has cooled and it won't be as sticky now. We want to avoid demolding it while it's hot because this silicone material will stick if it's hot. All right, pop that out. And now notice this is not perfect. See how it has these edges, but I'm going to show you how to fix that up. All of these imperfections are from the mold not being perfectly perpendicular, but it's not a deal breaker. I'm going to show you what to do when you pop this out and have something that looks like this. So we have some little side nippers here, and we can just nip off that extra resin, okay, wherever we see it. We're going to do along this side, and they go flying across the room, and that's part of the fun. All right, so I can make these edges just perfect. Down here, go around the edges and do that. All right, looking a little more like a key. The next thing I can do is I can go in with an emery board. And if there's any kind of sharpness, I can just file that down. You want to be, just take some care filing this. You don't really want to be breathing in these little like powdery bits. So you can wet sand it. I have a glass of water here, so I can dip my emery board in water and wet sand it. And that will, you know, those powdery bits won't be floating through the air now. Okay. But there, let me show you the key. So that was made from that key. And so you see, you get a mirror image. Or turn it that way, and it's the same. All right, so let's put this onto our lever back hoop. We just slide that right on, and you have a custom pair of earrings. How cool is that? This would also make a great keychain. UV resin is perfect for keychains, really any small object, jewelry, keychains, and using it as an adhesive. Now here's that silicone bowl that we cured. To clean up, just pop that stuff out. You can keep this, you can cut it up, you can put it down inside other resin. This is the easiest way to kind of clean up. If you're left with any glitter, the other thing to do is, you know, like get a piece of tape and like you're getting lint off your clothes, that'll get all those tiny pieces of glitter out of there. That's how you clean up. All right, guys, I will leave you with this request is to try this out and post your creations. We love to see what you guys are doing with our product. Do use the hashtag UV resin craft, and always when you're crafting with Michael's items, hashtag make it with Michael's. You can connect with me personally on Instagram at Stephanie Menor Creates. Please tag me. I would love to see what you're doing. Thank you so much for everyone, for all of your participation. I hope you try out these projects, and I cannot wait to see what you do. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time.